Hello everyone, it is Carol Garrison with Carol's Creative Escape. It is Monday, March 28th, and I am so happy that you are all joining me tonight. If you are able to watch, just drop me a quick hello. Let me know where you're watching from. I always like to kind of see where people are tuning in from. I am so excited tonight to be sharing a card with you. It's actually from another demonstrator, and it was just, I saw it and I went, oh. So I made one card exactly like she did, and then I've created one other card just to show you a very different look in terms of types of paper that I used. And then we're going to be doing one more that will create even something a little bit different. I want to make sure, yep, I'm in the right spot for going live. And there we go. So anyhow, I am excited to be sharing this card. It's so pretty, and it's not one that I normally I wouldn't copy somebody direct and share that, but her card was so stunning that I have to share that and then give you a couple other examples. Today I received some happy mail. I got my new annual catalog. I've already gotten to see a little bit of it as a PDF online. And sorry, I'm not looking up at the camera. I'm watching something else. Let me switch my look here. Hey, April. Hey, Shari. Thanks for tuning in. I need to remember where my camera is in front of me and not to the side of me. Anyhow, my new annual catalog arrived, and I also received a stamp set. I've had a chance to look at the catalog online, so I've already got just a short little wish list kind of going here. You know, not a lot. It just fills both sides of this page. But I got to cross one of my stamp sets off already because of the one that I got for an event that I'm attending. So I'm excited for that. And I will be sharing more about the catalog. But right now I can't show you anything on the inside. I will tell you there's some gorgeous stamp sets in there. There's a lot of really pretty designer series paper that's coming out. And what I would encourage you to do right now is make sure that you check out that retired product list or last chance product list that I shared with you in my last newsletter. And I can also get you directed there from my Facebook page. I'll leave a comment. There's a lot of good sets that are retiring, and it's always kind of a sad thing. But then once you start looking at that new catalog, it's like, okay, now I can make room for those on my shelves. So make sure you do that. A lot of the retired products sell out, or last chance products, they sell out pretty darn quick, especially if it's related to the in colors. So don't forget to place your order for those right away. We'll be losing Cinnamon Cider, Magenta Madness, Bumblebee, Just Jade, and Misty Moonlight with the change in the catalog season. The new in colors, you may have seen some hints online already. They're very pretty too. But just keep in mind that the current retiring colors, in colors, a lot of times those sell out right away if they haven't already. So, hey Cindy, thanks for jumping in. All right, I am going to just get started and show you this card because like I said, it is just absolutely pretty. Oh, April, I just received my new catalog today. I didn't even know that it was coming, but John brought the mail in, and he had a very important letter from a political party, and I got my Stampin' Up catalog and a new stamp set, so I think I came out ahead on that one. Let me flip my camera over real quick, and we will get started here. Just a moment. Let you see my lighthouse picture that I have now straightened. And then I'm going to, can never remember which one of the things I have to loosen up to get my camera to flip properly, but there we go. I will get this centered over. I did straighten my lighthouse picture out, though. I don't know if you guys noticed that when it was sitting on there. All right, let me tighten up my stand so stuff isn't jiggling around. Hey, Kay, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Okay, so let me show you this fabulous card. I think you are going to just ooh and ah. Look at this. Isn't that just the prettiest? It's using all of the products, or I shouldn't say all, but many of the products in that Waves of the Ocean sweet. And one of the things that I just want to remind you is after March 31st, which is coming up on Thursday, the designer series paper, this lovely foil, these rhinestones, the blue toned rhinestones, not going to be able to get them again. So again, if you think this is a cool card, make sure you order these supplies by March 31st. So this card was designed by a demonstrator by the name of Jan Faring. I don't know if I'm saying her last name correctly, Faring or Faring. And this is basically exactly what her card looks like. I've used some of that dark blue foil, the Coastal Cabana type color foil, and the designer series paper. And then I also, one of the things I really liked about her card is how she had layered her sentiment. And that is using these amazing, it's the, when I put mine away, I always try to keep this sheet going this direction. And that way I know what the dies are. And then I put the dies on the other side so I know what the shapes are. It's the Stitch So Sweetly dies. And it's some of these fun shapes and then these scalloped rectangles. These dies are on the last chance list. So if you like these dies, I'm kind of sad to see these go because I did like the range of the different sizes of these stitched rectangles. I'm sure there's going to be another, I know there's another set in fact coming out that will offer me some of this variety too, but make sure you check out to get these. But I really liked how this layered. Okay, so this is the card exactly as Jan made it, and it's just is stunning. These shapes, it's one of those that looks hard, but it really isn't. So let me show you another card that I made. And this is using the Simply Elegant Specialty Designer Series paper, which will also be retiring at the end of this catalog. And this is the one that's got the copper, silver, and gold foil in it, as well as basic black, basic gray coloring, very vanilla, and the basic white. So just fun paper. And for some reason, when I see this paper, it reminds me of a wedding. And so I've used this greeting, wishing you every happiness this special day will bring, from the Peaceful Moments stamp set, which is not retiring. So that got a huge thumbs up from me because I go to these greetings a lot. I was really happy that one didn't retire. I will tell you I need to redo the embossing on my sentiment. I thought I had it done. Went to throw a ball for the dog and smeared it. It was not done yet, so ignore that. That's a user error and not the stamp set. So here I'm using copper foil with that gorgeous paper. And then you're probably saying, well, how did you get those copper rhinestones? We don't have any copper rhinestones. These are the champagne rhinestones, and they kind of pick up the color that's around them, so they look copper. Isn't that beautiful? And then I kind of broke one of my cardinal rules. I am stingy when it comes to my foil paper. I put a whole piece of one of the silver foil pieces behind this. I didn't even die cut anything out of the middle of it first. I never do that with foil, but this card just said this is how it has to go. So I'll be able to write a sentiment, another wedding card. Woohoo! So those are these two cards. Same look, different papers, different occasions. And let me show you what we're going to do. And then I'm going to walk you through how to make this card, because this is one that I think I'm going to have some difficulty writing up. And I think you'll understand. And then I'm also going to share with you a cheat sheet that I made that helps with the layout. So we're going to start with your card base, which will be 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I am using basic white for my card base. And then I have two pieces of Magenta Madness. One is 4 by 5 1/4, and then the smaller piece is 3 3/4 by 5. And then I have cut out, oh, guess what? Carol's misplaced one of her pieces of designer series paper. Shocker, isn't it? I'll find it. Good grief. I had to start playing ball with Loki again. And I think I knocked some oh, no, I can't blame the dog. All right, you need 2 pieces of 3x3 gold foil for this particular card. And then I've got 2 pieces of 3x3 designer series paper. And this is using another one that is going to be leaving us at the end of the catalog year. And that is the Expressions in Ink. And remember, that came with all sorts of fun colors. I'm using Magenta Madness and gold foil with this paper for my card today. And then you'll need to figure out how you want to layer your sentiment. So again, I'm sticking with my my Stitch So Sweetly die cuts using gold foil. And then I've stamped the sentiment from my Flowing Flowers. I love that script on that happy birthday, so you see me using that one a lot. And I stamped that in the polished pink, or excuse me, Magenta Madness, because that will be leaving us. All right, so let's set aside all of these pieces except for our 3x3 squares, and we will come back to those. There's a little bit of cutting that is involved with this, and when I cut, I'm actually layering my gold foil and 1 piece of designer series paper. And here's where I found it easier to understand what I was doing when I saw Jan demonstrating this in a video that she made. So I've got my trimmer here, and I'm lining up my 2 pieces of designer series paper, and you're going to be using the 3/4 inch line on either side of the gutter track here. Okay, so you're going to be lining up opposite corners at the 3/4 inch mark. So we're going to start here, and I kind of found that it helped to sort of place it but not be too rigid on it. And so we'll have it opposite corners at 3/4 of an inch. And on this one, I've got my upper right hand corner on the right side of the gutter. Okay, get rid of my scoring one, and I'm going to cut it. Okay, so I've got 2 pieces like that, and set that aside. And then I'm going to take my second piece of designer series paper, and this time my upper left corner is going to be at the 3/4 mark to the left of the gutter. The first time it was to the right. This time we're going to make it to the left of the gutter here. Same lineup. So we'll have this at 3/4 of an inch. Oh, I almost got that one right off the bat. Wow. So 3/4 of an inch to the left, 3/4 of an inch to the right. Again, opposite corners. And we'll just slide the trimmer through, and we'll keep those pieces together, and I'm going to set them aside. All right, now here's the little trick. My first card that I made, Jan suggested that we make on the smaller of these 2 papers a little hash mark with pencil at 2.5 and 1 7/8, 2.5, 1 7/8. And that's just the halfway point on the sides so that we could line this up. Well, I don't like drawing on or writing on my cardstock particularly. And I found that I was still struggling just a little bit to line things up. So I've taken one of my little pieces of the grid paper that we use in our Stamparatus, and sorry, I needed a quick sip of water. And I've outlined my cardstock mark, and I'm just going to take a little piece of seal and rub it on the back, and I'm going to get rid of some of the stickiness just by tapping it. And then I've kind of drawn the outline of my square. Somehow I managed to get seal on here too. And so I'm just going to line it up in that outline. And then, as you can see, I've got hash marks already drawn in at the halfway point. My card is square here, and that's going to help me line up these pieces because it's a little bit different than what you might think for lining it up. So make sure I've got that. That might be, yeah, that's good enough. All right. And the fortunate thing is right in the center here. For the most part, you don't have to worry if they line up exactly because you're going to be covering it up with your sentiment. So I'm going to grab one of my stacks of paper, and we're going to use this piece and this piece to create this corner, and then this piece and this piece will create that corner, and then your remaining pieces you're going to have kind of the opposite pieces. And so you can see how this card is going to be laid out. Now what I found is that after I made my first one, I didn't really need to kind of pre-lay them out to get where I was going to put them. And that's where this grid kind of helped me a lot too. So I'm going to stack up my pieces again and just work with the two that I've got here. And what I'm going to do is actually start with this piece because that's the one that's important to have kind of lined up. You're going to go just to the right of the little hash mark, and you'll go just above your tick mark in terms of placement. And if you want, you can even take your ruler and line it up right on that line, so you're pretty sure they're going to go on straight too. So I'm going to take some of my seal and just go over the lower part. I'm not going to go all the way up because you will see that it hangs over, and we're going to be cutting it off. And so I'm just going to lay it here with this piece, and then make sure that I have it lined up just to the right. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but I have a faint line going across here and one going down here, and that tells me where this edge of the paper is going to be so that I have it lined up correctly along that center line too. So I think you can see how this, and you can do this, you know, if you've got these little grid pieces or the bigger pieces or just graph paper, you can see how this helps keep your things lined up. All right, then I'm going to repeat the process with my gold foil. And I'm finding that on the back of the foil, the seal doesn't work as well. It kind of lifts up again. So I'm just going to use something I don't use very often because I make a mess with it, but the liquid glue. What's nice about this is it does give you a chance to move things around a little bit too, but it will work a lot better than the seal is. And so again, I can line up my straight edge here and my straight edge up here, and you can see I have just a little bit of a mark. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put down this other top piece on my card, again following kind of my same layout and my lines. Now again, this is the foil, so I'm going to use a little bit of the mono liquid glue and line it up so that it's even at the bottom, just to the left of my hash mark, and lined up at the top with my line that I drew on my grid here. Okay, and then we will repeat with this piece, and again kind of lining everything up. Okay, and then I'll repeat the process again with the bottom part of this. So while I'm doing that, did everybody have a good weekend? I hope you were able to go out. Let's see, I want to make sure. Nope, this is going to be here. I hope you were able to have a little bit of fun and relaxing. I've got just a lot of stuff happening at work for me right now that's caused a little bit of stress, one might say. And this weekend, my sisters and my mom all got together. There's a nursery up by my sister's house near St. Cloud that we have a couple years now
done a Christmas pot where we can go in and create our own Christmas greenery. And they have one for a spring planter too that you can create. And the first year we were going to go to it, COVID hit, and then they didn't offer it, and whatever. So this is the first year that we were able to go up and do that. And none of us knew what to expect. We didn't know if we were going to be planting bulbs. Again, I'm lining up these pieces spaced here, and then even with my line on the bottom, just like I did on the top. So anyhow, we got to do that this weekend, and it was a really cool deal. We created I think it's a 25-inch planter. I'm not even positive. And one of my fears was, what am I going to do with this thing? How am I going to keep it alive? Because there's no way in Minnesota, anyhow, that I could set out a planter at this point. It would die in minutes because of the cold weather and stuff. It's just not flower time here yet. Well, the cool thing is they keep all the planters up at this nursery, and in mid-May, late May, my sister will go and pick them up, and they take care of them for us between now and when we pick them up. And if any of the plants die, we have our flower stakes right in the planter, so they're going to know what to replace it with, and it's pretty cool. So that was kind of fun to do. All right, so you can see that even Carol can talk and get this layout done at the same time. Can't always do that, but I did it with this one. So very easy to do. It is, of course, going to stick a little bit to my paper, primarily because I've used both liquid glue that ran over, and then I've also got that piece of tape in the middle. Now, one thing I am going to suggest is that you try to blot up some of this glue if you can. I'm just going to take a Kleenex and wipe some of the extra off. We're going to be cutting this, and I don't want to gum my scissors up too bad. That's the only reason I'm doing this. So we're going to be cutting off all of the overflow. Again, I'm stingy with my foil, so my first thought was, yikes, I'm wasting all of this. But one of the comments that Jan made in her video is that she tried using smaller squares, and this is the layout that worked. So we just, all great things, we have to sacrifice just a little bit. So grab your scissors, and you're just going to cut right along the edge of your, in this case, Magenta Madness cardstock. And I'm going to cut those pieces off. I love layouts that look like you were working really hard at it, but in the end it's pretty easy to make. We can kind of fool the people that are getting our cards with our amazing talents. Okay, I got just a teeny bit hanging over. We're going to leave it though, because if I start trimming it, then it gets all wacky on me. And I don't want that to happen. All right, and I'm just getting rid of those scraps. I'm not even going to worry about it. All right, so then the next thing that we're going to do is adhere this onto that larger piece of the Magenta Madness that we had. And I'm going to run my seal on that and just center it right here. Look how pretty that is. Wow. All right, and then I'll take my basic white cardstock and my bone folder. You guys, I cleaned my desk off, except for misplacing that one piece of designer paper, which really wasn't misplaced. I'm doing pretty good so far tonight with having all my tools. All right, make sure I've got the card opening correctly. And I'm going to center that. Okay, so that is now adhered. And then the next thing I need to do is, I was testing my stamp out to make sure it was going to fit in this box. So this is actually the back side of the piece I die cut. It's just a little rougher on the die cut pieces. This is a more finished look. And now you know all my secrets. That was not even a goof. That was a deliberately done to make sure it was going to fit. All right, and then I'm just going to center this piece into that. And then, yep, I even can find my dimensionals. How cool is that? Whoops. All right. And the other fun thing I got to do this weekend, some of my customers that used to come to my house for classes and things like that know that I undertook a very big kitchen remodel in 2019. And due to some issues, it didn't get done all the way until 2020. My contractor ran into some health issues, which nobody can plan on. And so we finally got it done in 2020. And then I had extra stuff at my house from my mom and dad's house, and then some extra things because my daughter moved home for a little bit. And I couldn't reach my boxes of decor that I had packed up. And I was able to get to those this weekend, so I even have, not all, but I have some of my old decor back out. So it's kind of nice to see the familiar stuff. We'll keep working on that little by little. I am decorating this card using the gilded gems. That's kind of the faceted gold, sort of rhinestone looking things. These also are going to be on the last chance list. They will not be in the next annual catalog. So if you like the looks of these, now's your chance. So there you go. There's the next card that I've made using the foil and the designer series paper. So we have a wedding card, a birthday card, and a You're Totally Awesome kind of card that I can share. And I'm going to try one using just designer series paper, front and back, without any foil, and kind of see how that looks, because I think that'll give a new look too. I just didn't have time to get that one made to share with you tonight, but I will take a picture of that and leave it in my in the comments for the video. So I hope you guys are brave enough. Well, I'm getting lots of hearts from someone there. Thank you. I am going to share this, or I will make sure that the measurements are written in the comments down below. But beware that I think it might be helpful to go back and just rewatch the video to see how to cut the squares. Like I said, I'm more visual, so that was very helpful to have that. But if you guys make this card, I would love to see. Hey, you're welcome, Terry. I would love to see what you make. So please, please post it in the comments section. I think our greatest inspiration can come from each other. And one of the things I find is the combinations of paper or colors that people use are things I would never think of if they didn't share it with us. So feel free to do that. Next week, I will be back with a new card design for you. And I think this one next week will also be a video pre-recorded. I have another training. I'm kind of going every other week for my CERT training that I was talking about in previous videos. Next week I get to use a fire extinguisher to put out a fire. And I always enjoy that class, so I want to make sure that I can get back there, get a bit of a refresher. And this is one that I'm kind of taking charge in terms of our guest speaker. So I need to be there, but I will have a card for you in a video that you can watch next week. And we will see you. I hope you all have a great week. Hey, thanks, Pam. I'm glad you were able to join us tonight. I will see you guys sort of next week, but for sure 2 weeks from now. So be sure to check out the video. Share if you know somebody who might like this design. And I appreciate your comments. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.